I think the market is still looking for that, and being we're right in the middle of that fall, typically larger sales season of the year of farmland, I think we'll know more in about a month or two from now as we flip the calendar into the new year about how the market is really responding. But you're exactly right. Over the past year or two, we've seen some softening from the Iowas, the Illinois, different reporting sources, surveys, statistics to increases, and varies 6 months to 6 months. So it's very interesting. Part of that, I think, is different survey techniques, but the other is what's the quality of land being sold? Is there more good quality land happens to be sold at this time period, which would, that looks good, as opposed to some lower quality acres that might be sold and just more of those out of the total. So I think that is part of the variation. I think part of it is the attitude and the kind of the very near-term economics going on. Are farmers' markets looking a little bit better, the grain prices, or is there a ad hoc government payment coming in? And I'm a little more optimistic, so I'll stretch out and I'll pay that little bit extra to buy that farm near me. So I think there's that uncertainty in the market is playing out, but the bottom line is if there's not much for sale in that area, those prices will probably be stable. Whereas there's a couple thousand acres in this neighborhood being sold for some reason, and that might pressure those prices a little bit.
There may be some bankers who twist some farmers' arms a little bit, maybe to get rid of some of the lower quality land that they could and still keep the best stuff that they're farming.
Yeah, I think that's very normal when the financial stress hits that, farmers will themselves take it upon to, maybe I need to shore up my balance sheet, working capital, and I'm going to sell a piece of equipment that I don't really need. Or that, like you mentioned, that farm I bought farther away to get it bought now, it doesn't make quite as much sense. I think that's a difference today that didn't happen in the 1980s farm crisis. I think farmers just hung on to it, kept it, and kind of accentuated the problem at the time, and so more forced sales. Whereas today, I think farmers, there's fewer farmers, they're even more professional, and I need to shore up my overall finances and do these things proactively. But again, I think that there's going to be some serious discussions with lenders, and we'll see a few more of those sales. And the question is, will there be enough more land on the market to kind of oversupply and pressure the market, or will it not be very much actually, and we'll get through it.
I was kind of surprised when David Oppedahl, the ag economist for the Chicago Fed, said that the farmland prices in his district went up by 3%. That would seem to be a pretty healthy jump.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that too, because the economics, the margin squeeze that farmers are going through, that we've talked about for several years, and it looks like it could continue, unfortunately, really puts a question mark why farmland would increase. So that's one. The cap rate or the return on that farmland is historically low, around 2% now for the investors, if they're not focusing on long-term safety and inflation hedge. So I think there's some real challenges. And again, timing of those surveys, that particular neighborhood, I've seen good quality Illinois farmland that sold in that $20,000 range, and just as good a farm in the next county that sold for $15,000, within a year's time frame. So there's a lot of difference going on, and trying to figure that out gets a little tougher.